what's up guys? I'm going to attempt to start making some videos again. I know it's been a long time since we made any. I've been really busy outside of video stuff. So the next couple of videos that I do, it's gonna be going back through some old footage. There's a ton of footage that I have not used, and it kind of explains what I've been doing and why I haven't been doing as much video. I've been concentrating a lot more on not just my day job, but also the tuning side of things. And one of the cars that I've done plenty of video on, but haven't really done any full videos about, is Billy's car, Green Mustang. And this is a love-hate relationship. I really like the car. I like the setup around it. I like the type of racing it's meant for, but I absolutely hate it because it has been confusing the living crap out of me and a ton of other people. So we'll get into that more and more, but there's probably gonna be probably 2 or 3 videos on just this car, catching you guys up to where we're at right now. At least 2 videos. So this one is gonna go over Lights Out 13. So this was from earlier in the year, and it was the very first race that we ever did with this car. So Nick and them got the car together, and I think we got it on the dyno. We had some issues on the dyno. Ended up figuring out an electrical problem that we had in the chassis harness. And so we just eliminated it because we were getting ready for this race. A ton of money had been spent to, coordinate even getting into the race, and, the RVs that we were staying in and travel and everything. So it was kind of a drop everything, let's make this happen. And so we did. So we felt that we solved one of the problems that was giving us some trouble, and got the car ready and loaded in the trailer, and we headed out. These next couple of clips are narrated. It gets to a point where I stopped doing video, and so I'll fill in the gaps with the commentary right here. But really it got to a point where we were having so many issues that I stopped wanting to do video. I just wanted to concentrate on trying to get the car to be able to make some passes and do rounds. So we'll explain more into that, but yeah, here's the intro to that video.
All right guys, we're here at South Georgia Motorsports Park for Lights Out 13. First time I've ever been to this race, first time I've ever been to Georgia, period. And we got Troy's car, Roxanne, and Billy's new car is a green fox body. Doesn't have a name yet, so maybe we'll figure that out this week. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I think I've only taken a week off of work for one other thing, and that was my honeymoon. We had a little bit of a mishap on the way out here. Actually, we had a lot of mishaps on the way out here, but so far we're dealing with them, and we're still going to be able to race. But unfortunately Billy's car came unstrapped and just did its own thing, because it doesn't have a transmission in it right now, which is a whole nother story. But it came loose and it was able to go forward and backwards, and nothing but fast people out here today. Yeah, unfortunately it was able to move forwards and backwards, and it messed up the brand new paint job, brand new bumper, everything up in the front. So kind of unfortunate, but it didn't break anything enough to actually make it non-raceable, so we should be okay. But they have a lot more work to do than just worry about body stuff. We're gonna cover that up with a sticker or something. But the worst part is it doesn't have a transmission in it right now. We were testing the other day and the transmission just completely failed. So they took it out. We were supposed to leave the next day, and they took the transmission out before they even left the track. And they went and took it to a buddy's shop. They fixed up the train the following day. So while we left in this thing to come out here, they were still having the guys work on the train, and then they picked it up and they headed out here. They actually beat us here because we had some problems of our own, which is a whole nother story. So first things first, they got to get his up on the lift and get the transmission back in there, and hope everything is all well now. We're gonna get unloaded right now and then start getting organized. There is testing today. I believe it's like $200 or something to test. I think Troy would like to race. We definitely want to give Billy a pass if we can, but there is practice tomorrow as well, so we'll see what we can get going with his.
Oh, he's already got it in. Well, I knew you were doing this. I just didn't know you were that fast. I should have known.
You should have known.
I should have. All right, so Billy's brand spanking new transmission back in. Troy, hopefully,
hopefully both of them get some rest here soon. Neither one of them have slept very much. I don't think anybody has slept very much because of all the shenanigans that we had coming in here. So hopefully they get some sleep after this, because you're not gonna put them behind the car after, you know, being up for 30 hours or something like that. It's probably not a good idea. So we'll keep setting up these sweet canopies. Nick's gonna keep working on that, and hopefully once he's done with that, we'll start it up, drive the car around a little bit, make sure it feels good, get it up on the trans brake again, and hopefully get ready to make a pass. Here's our setup that we got for the day. We'll do a little like MTV Cribs. Come see our accommodations for the day, or for the weekend. Dude, so Billy's got us set up in this awesome RV rental. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna just download the logs from the cars, come in here, sit down at my desk. Got some bunk beds, camping out up there, full shower and everything. Dude, this is the way to be at the track. This is the only way to be at the track. Got a fridge, got some drinks chilling in there, full stove. I am starving. Hopefully we all get something to eat here soon, but yeah, this is pretty sweet.
Okay.
Is that 4?
Yeah, 4. Okay. This should be the last one.
How many man-pair bigs are those torqued down to?
6.5. Hit.
We'll double check. Make sure you count them.
Yeah, that one's already tight. Yep, that was it.
What do you think? So we had aluminum in the converter. Do you think we need to look at the solenoids? The dumps?
No, he cleaned all that shit.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Okay,
he just
cool.
didn't have the converter.
I gotcha.
Yep.
All right, so you'll notice the slight sense of urgency here because even though we were there a couple of days early, there's a few days of testing that you can do. This is Billy's first time in a car like this down a track. So we literally have a brand new driver and we're tossing him into a race like Lights Out 13. He's never even done a burnout in this car. He's had some like fast cars, like street cars, but nothing like this. So we wanted him to have every test pass that he possibly could. So we were scrambling to get that transmission in and get him ready to make the first test pass, which is available this night. I don't know if it was just because a lot of people, had new setups or it was just initial shakedowns, but there was a lot of oil downs, a lot of stoppages, and everybody hates that. I know stuff happens, but it's really annoying when it's just stop and go, stop and go. It took forever to get through the staging lanes. Yeah, a little foreshadowing. Could happen to anybody. Never know.
So, as you saw in the previous pass on Billy's car, it oiled down the entire track. So, sorry to everybody out there. I mean, that shit happens. Honestly, 2 people, 3 people, actually, yeah, 2 people oiled down right before us, so we were waiting a long time for those oil downs, and then we did the same exact thing, which I feel bad about, but shit happens. Brand new setup. Not two of the lines, but one of the lines on the transmission broke, and he didn't realize that he wasn't spinning, like, because of just too much power. So he stayed in it, and it was dumping trans fluid all the way down. So got it fixed. It's a long story on what actually did it. I'm thinking the lines that we were using, they changed the outer material on it, and so it was able to like mess up the outer material, and then it lost grip because that outer diameter actually changed. So then it pulled out, and that's what happened. So now we got a different line on there, and we tested it. Everything is good. And so we turned it up a little bit for him up top. We've got it leaving what we hope is relatively soft, but even then, we don't really know what this motor is going to do. So we may be leaving it at a higher RPM than we will in the future, but we got to start somewhere. So hopefully it leaves relatively soft, but you know, not like a bitch or anything. And then ramp in a decent amount as it goes through, because he's used to power. He's had high horsepower like roll cars and stuff. So everything should be fine. We had an issue with the shifter that we fixed. A pin just needed to be moved over, so it should automatically shift for him. So yeah, hoping for much better pass on that one.
Oh, not, god damn it, dude. It's not gonna, it's gotta be in the fucking water. Hey! He's gotta be in the water, dude.
So a little bit of extra explanation on that. You know, starting out, this engine always had really poor performance. You know, lots of backfires and things happening when we ran it on batch at low RPM, but even in sequential, it still really did not like life down low. And we've since made that a hell of a lot better. With some relatively major changes that we'll talk about more in the next videos. But right here, it was definitely an issue. And so it had a hard time starting out with the burnout. So we wanted him to be in the water, not doing a little spin in the water and then pulling out of it. It needed to have water so that it would be slick all the way until it actually was able to stand up, and then he could roll out. But like I said, in true struggle bus fashion, you know, we didn't quite communicate that to everybody, you know, completely, and so we got confused, pulled him out. He wasn't able to do a very good burnout, and yeah, the rest. I stopped recording because we needed an extra hand, right? Like, so I was hoping we had enough people there that I could just get some good video for you guys, and it ended up being that we definitely needed some kind of extra help with, I guess, direction at the line. So no video, but you know, basically it blew tires off, and then it was able to do a pull down. So we got some data, but you know, still struggling with traction. You know, to be honest with you, for the most part, I mean, everybody did pretty good. This being the first time that we had this car out at a race like this. Billy especially, you gotta understand that this situation was him first time playing on the team, going to the World Series. Like, you know, nerves, no muscle memory, brand new car, still working on getting the car to operate the way it's supposed to. There was a lot on his plate. So he did pretty good. Started getting the burnout down. But, you know, as you can see, everybody, there's just absolute killers out at this type of race. Really nice cars, really fast guys. The one thing that did make me feel a little bit better is us struggling with traction on the line. It was not unique to us. Everybody was struggling. You'll see here, the guy that he's racing, I think pedaled like probably 3 times before he even got to the 60 foot.
Good. Make sure he's got 3 on.
Yeah, I'm on top of it.
Cool. It never clicked in the second when it spun the tire, so I looked down, it was still in first, and I got on it.
Perfect. Okay. Did it cut you up at the top or anything?
Yep. I had a cut at the when I crossed the finish line, it went poof.
Oh, okay. Good. Almost got it. All right.
All right, good.
So we started getting the hang of it, and we're at least able to make it go down. We were still definitely struggling on the line, but everybody was. But we were able to start making some clean hits down track. So that was a step in the right direction for us. We're still basically tuning this car at this point. And we go to the lanes for what I think was going to be the first elimination pass, and it definitely got some attention. So this car is like a freaking highlighter out in the bright sun. Like, you need sunglasses just to look at it if there's any bright lights around. It draws some attention. The setup is beautiful, so that draws attention as well. And it's a new car, so people haven't seen it around. They want to see what's going on with it. And some questions ended up arising. We caught the attention, I guess, of some people, and I think there was a lot of people that were misunderstanding what the power combo was. So every race has some rules. I don't know very deep into the rules. We were well within the rules as far as like weight goes and the setup goes, but it's confusing because nobody uses this motor. If you guys didn't know, this is a Gen 7 Big Block. Nobody else uses it. Like, this is, if you want to see the fastest one in the world, that's this one. Even though it's not performing all that great, it is the fastest, it is the most powerful. Like, it's, one of the few that are, I guess, even anywhere close to this level. So it's not normal to see it out and about. Yeah, we had the tech guys come through and check everything to make sure that we were legal within the rules. So we were a little curious how that was gonna go. We didn't know if like somebody flagged it, like worried about us. I remember thinking to myself, y'all don't need to worry about us at all. We're struggling. It's like, even if we were technically outside of the rules, like, y'all don't gotta worry about us. We are just trying to get down. So yeah, here's a little bit of that. It all ended up working out fine. We were within the rules, like we said, and they checked it and they were cool with it. It's just a little bit out of the ordinary.
Billy, who'd you piss off? Where's he at?
Everybody, apparently.
You scared everybody? What? I told you don't paint this motherfucker this color.
Oh, did you guys see our test passes? What the hell are you worried about?
We didn't fly from Australia for this shit, boy. You don't sound Australian, sir.
All right. Thanks, sir. Rock and roll, gents.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
Now, who protested?
Yeah.
Who protested?
All the money in this motherfucker.
Couldn't pay him to what?
Oh, is it we couldn't
Pay
pay you
him
all,
off.
man? He said you couldn't add up all the money in this motherfucker. Pay me
You
off.
tell us who said something?
Right. Who said something? I can tell you who it was. Right?
Yeah.
Well, they used to make you take it all off.
That's what he said. Nick wasn't sure, so we ain't doing that here.
Well, I thought he said he had to measure the turbo, but he didn't even look at the turbo. I don't know what he was looking through.
You might check and make sure it had conventional heads and shit. Somebody was probably
There's a big block turbo up there in the meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's the electric windows and the factory doors. Now they got fingerprints all over your shit.
Most of them are mine.
I got a little nervous.
That was weird.
That's not what the rules say. You got all the eyeballs now, buddy.
Because when you start looking at the intake,
Billy Force.
yeah, I know, that's what I saw too.
But why? But why?
I think we're the only big block single turbo entry.
What is the threshold for that then, though?
It's got to be a conventional head.
It's got to be conventional headed cast.
But this,
And 118 millimeter is max, 2,700 pounds minimum. So we're good on weight, but
Yeah. But the hell head thing. And somebody must have heard say Gen 7 and...
that was probably like, whoop.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, then why the hell? That's weird.
he was just trying to figure out the heads is what he was doing right
Gotcha.
there. Because he was
Yeah,
like,
he measured those past too.
yeah, he was just trying to get an idea of what the what's going on. when he was looking between the
Slowest car in the
intake,
field so far. And
when he was looking at the intake runner, I was like, oh shit.
yeah, that's what I was like, oh no.
Hey, this don't look like Big Block Chevrolet head deal thing.
Wow,
Good job, Nick. Now they're gonna have a star next to the road next year.
3100.
This is when it goes out there and goes really fast for some odd reason.
I know.
And everybody gets mad.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take that after the week we've had.
You hear, Nick? This is when it goes really fast for some odd reason, and then everybody's mad.
And just finally figure it out. And it's just like, oh, they're gonna think we hustled them. We had no idea.
We're not even going to get into the pits before we have a crowd. We need to look at those heads again.
Yeah, yeah.
You have a build sheet.
Swear to
Do you
God,
have a
they're
receipt? Do you have a receipt for when you bought them?
The funny thing is they've got a smaller intake port than probably 90% of the small blocks.
Yeah.
I told the guy the cathedral port. He's like, yeah, right. I was like, oh, that's what we got. The cathedral port. Biggest ones I've ever seen. Their cathedral port.
Right. Got me. All right, so something I wanted to point out right here is this is one of the issues that we were dealing with. So at a low, if we had the RPM of the launch control too low, so basically anything below 4,000, which we wanted to have it below because the track surface in the, in the daytime anyway, it got a lot better at night. But at the time we were trying to pull power off the line. And so we wanted to go a lower RPM, but every time we went below 4,000, the engine would literally stop firing for a brief moment and then recover for what we could tell in the log for no apparent reason. So, like I said, that's kind of just a little taste, a little bit of foreshadowing of the videos to come on what we've been struggling with on this car. But yeah, that was, at that point, that was a head scratcher. We turned it up to a high enough RPM because what we had seen on the dyno suggested that something was going on down in lower RPMs, anything below 4,000 on the engine dyno, I should say. On the engine dyno, it had a really hard time in batch fire. And because it was doing this at low RPM on launch control, I said, screw it, let's try to just raise the RPM and see if we put it into the RPM that it seems to run a lot happier, if it'll at least stay on launch control. And sure enough, it did, but on this one, we were right at the threshold, and so it did actually die out real quick, and then it came back, and we were able to go down. So we got lucky on this one. If that would have happened right when he needed to launch, we would have been screwed. So we struggled with this a little bit in the future, but got it to behave much better. But we still launch that thing above 4,000. We have to, otherwise it'll still every now and then behave like this. Okay, so one other thing to note in this pass, if you see up at the very top end of the run, you can start seeing it kind of puff out some smoke. So there's two things going on here. One of them, I have no idea what the hell it is because it's one of the problems that we're still having to this day, which is some cylinders dropping out, not firing at the right time. We'll go into that more in later videos. But the other thing that was happening on this pass and a little bit in some earlier passes at this race
was spark blowout. When we started turning up the boost, we realized that we were blowing out spark, and we had no idea why. We didn't expect it anyway, I guess I should say. We had our spark plugs gapped relatively wide because we had just put in the Pro 600, the MSD box. And so we figured that we were gonna have some pretty gnarly spark so that we'd be able to widen that gap a little bit. That was not the case. Basically right now that we actually have, like present day, we have a comparison between the Pro 600 and standard ING 1A's coils, smart coils. We do the same exact gap. There's no difference. If we make the gap any bigger, it'll blow out spark. So it's basically in line as far as strength of spark as the smart coils that we use on Troy's car. So that was a little bit disappointing, and it definitely wasted 1 or 2 passes for us to figure that out, but we gapped them down and everything ended up being okay as far as spark blowout goes at higher boost levels. But like I said, we had some other problems that we'll get into in a later video. But I think that's basically it for this one. I just wanted to get through the lights out footage and kind of introduce you to what the next couple of videos are gonna be. It is going to be going on a journey of struggle with me and Nick and Dustin and all of the guys over at PTS Fab. That's kind of how this goes. There's a ton of video that I do that if we're struggling too much with basically what my other job is. Like my job is to make sure that you know, when I'm out with these cars, is to make sure that these cars go down the track safely, you know, protecting their investment, trying to keep their motor together, and trying to win the races. So if we're struggling too much, I put the video on the side, unfortunately. So there's still plenty of video, I think, to do a video. It's gonna require some explanations just like this. So hope you guys still enjoyed this video. If you did, do the normal like, share, subscribe, share it with your friends. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people diving into the comments on what you think the problem is. Trust me, hold that thought. There's a lot more confusing information that we got from this car in testing and putting it on the dyno, and many different changes that we've made, you know, from injectors to wiring to all sorts of things. So by all means, comment, let me know what you think, but yeah, I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, it gets weird. So yeah, stay tuned for the rest of the videos, and we'll see you on the next one.